As the sun sets over Girard, we are back at the shop, the station, the ToyBox, just off the square. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough. The place is a mess, and I haven't been here a whole lot. I got a lot of things in the works as always. So don't judge me on the messy shop at the moment, but I'm going to give you a walkthrough on the shop and what I've got in here this evening, this moment. So this tends to change quite a bit, but right here we have the 78 Datsun. It's a extended cab long bed dually. It's a, I'm not gonna say factory conversion, but it's a conversion that was probably done when the truck was new or fairly new. It is a full length bed. It is an extended cab, longer than, like, it's not just a king cab, it's a stretch cab, fiberglass extension on the cab. Little 5-speed, cool little truck. It's new to us if you haven't seen the other video. Back there is my 99 Ram 3/4 ton, the 24 valve Cummins. That is Patches that you saw earlier on. It does need a paint job because that's not for me, but it's been a pretty good bike. It's just a 2000 Suzuki VL 1500. Nothing special. They're out there, but they're pretty good bikes. I know a lot of people are diehard Harley Davidson or Indian or whatever their choice may be. I like them. I'd like to have a Road King personally. But these are good bikes. Metric bikes have done well. They're not, unfortunately, not USA made, but they're cheaper, and they go where you need to go as far as motorcycles, and you don't have to worry about them. They're cheap enough you can use them, enjoy them, and not have to worry too much about them. So there's that 1500 Suzuki. Get back to that in a moment. Over here is the 1970 Cadillac commercial chassis ambulance. As far as I know, it's a 472. Long block's the same between that and a 500. But based on what I've looked on this, and as far as these cars go, I'm pretty sure it's a 472. If someone can tell me for sure one way or another, I would be interested in knowing, but as far as I know, it's a 472. It was grown up in weeds, sitting kind of in a mud pit when I got it. So I had seen it for quite a while. Went to look at it thinking I wasn't going to get it because it was going to be too rough. And it's actually a lot more solid than what I had given it credit for. So I wanted to keep the ambulance theme. It is not a Ghostbusters car. It's too new. It's 11 years too new. Theirs was a 59. So, and I want to keep the, like I say, the ambulance thing to it. So it became the Relic Rescue. I need to do some work on the brakes. I have actually hoses on their way as we speak, if Prime gets here at some point. But it runs, it drives, it's legal, tagged, insured, all that jazz. I just need to get the brakes gone through, and I need to get the exhaust a little bit better. It's not terrible, but it sounds rough. So there's that one. In here we have my little service station or house. To me, I'm going to finish it out and make it look like a service station. Some stuff from out looking, buying random stuff. So these are some things I came up with. I have not got relocated yet. Oregon, little dresser we're going to paint and redo. But on the automotive side, this is my 51 Chevrolet Fleetline. It is a deluxe. It's about as solid and original as you're going to find that's not completely covered in surface rust. Pretty solid old car, pretty clean old car for what it is. Which you can't see. Let's just light on. There we go. Has the deluxe trim. It has the wings on the bumpers. It has the rain guards over the windows. It's got the visor in the front, push bar, and wings on the bumper. 235, 3 on the tree. Hopefully we'll have it out cruising. I need to get some tires on it. I need to rebuild the starter on it. But goal is to have all of these out, enjoying them more this year. Life seems to have happened here in the last few years, so these have been sitting. It's time to get them out. That one, 1953 Ford F100. Pretty solid old truck. It's got a little rust on the front of the hood. You can see there. It has rust present in the cab corners, but the cab corners are not gone. It's just starting. It's got a dent on this fender over here. So really nothing bad. Got Willie going for a drive. But it's really a pretty clean old truck. Good seat in it. Inline 6 factory bumper guard on the front. It is currently holding about 1,300 records, individual records. Some of them are in albums, so there's not that many actual albums. But there's probably 1,000 or more different albums. Some of them have, 3, 4, 5 in a pack. This one, Husqvarna. First Husqvarna we've had. So far, so good. It's cheap more, but it's good more. This one, 1973 Mustang. 351 C4 automatic. 84, right around 84,000 miles on it. Original paint, original seats. Dash carpet. This is one that my mom bought in Colorado. She bought it brand new. So you can see it's got some cracks in the dash pad, the steering wheel, like most older Fords that haven't been redone. The center part's coming off the steering wheel. It's there, we have it. It's just the tape finally came loose. Still rocking white walls, original hubcaps. It's been driven. We've got one tire that keeps going down. Tires have hardly any miles on them, but they are getting old. I don't even know. They might be 15 years old. Still good. I'll switch them on to something else for a roller. It is time to get some tires on it because we do drive this. It's tagged. It's insured. It's ready to go. It's had a new top, tires, exhaust, water pump, alternator. It's had maintenance items on it. Batteries, the basics. But the actual car, the paint, seats, dash, carpet, drivetrain, never had the engine out, never had the transmission out. It is all one owner original. Still my mom's car. So she's got that will be out cruising whenever. We can take it right now if we wanted to. That 1950 Chevrolet 3100. It's just the 3-window. This was actually sold new here in Girard to a Texaco station that we had. This is a legit Texaco truck. It's been red its whole life. Actually born green. So when they sold it new at the dealership, it would have been green. The firewall on it's still green. but it's been red as long as it's been around, as long as it's been sold. It's a 50. My dad was born in 51. His uncle, my great uncle, worked at the Texaco station and actually drove this as his work truck. And he bought it when they replaced it in 55, 56 with a new body style. Then my dad bought it from him in like 71, is what I was told. And as far as I know, I'm pretty sure the title shows that as well. So it's the inline six. It's a 235, not a 216. Inline six, 3-speed on the column. Runs, drives, tagged, legal, insured. Only thing I need to do is finish going through the brakes. I put a new master cylinder on it when I was in Indiana, but I didn't get finished with the brake lines and drum brakes on it before I moved home. I moved home, life happened, I haven't got it finished. So that is a summer thing. We want that truck. So it's back on the road as an extra driver before the end of the year. So, some other stuff. Bicycles. Extra table I need to move out of here, but it's been really good for projects and sorting records. Old stuff that I come up with here and there or wherever. We had a friend, they were kind of almost like grandparents to me, growing up over the years, who had a car collection, museum kind of thing, back before my memory serves me. He called it the Big Boys ToyBox. So my dad and I play with stuff a lot. Carry on that same basic thing of old cars, fun things, road trips. It's not just cars, it's pretty much a little bit of whatever is fun. And so I changed it to use the Bloomer Boys ToyBox to kind of continue the name and the tradition of what Ray and Joanne used to do. Unfortunately, both of them have passed. But they were a big influence, and we keep doing what they would be doing if they were here. So this is the 82 Jeep CJ8, better known as a Scrambler. I think she's hiding. Better known as a Scrambler. 82, it's the 4.2 liter inline six. The drink is disappearing. Inline six, 4-speed. It's got a Dana 300 transfer case. It's been upgraded with 3/4 ton full width axles, Dana 44 front, and a 14 bolt rear, 8 lug setup. It's got a reverse shackles, so the shackle's actually at the rear, like it would be on a pickup. These CJs, YJs, least run Jeeps are usually shackled at the front, not the back. It's got an upgraded steering box on it, which is set up for hydro assist. This one does not have the hydro assist used on it, primarily because it wasn't set up that way when I got it. It runs good, it drives good. I'm not doing anything extreme enough right now to need hydro. So at this point, I'm not doing enough. I don't have a lot of people to go off-road with. But the nice thing about this, with the way it's set up, you can cruise down the road. I've had this cruising down the highway at 73, not with swampers. When I had my 35s on it, just mud train, it'll cruise down the highway. I was sitting at 73 is the highest that I saw. There was a 70 mile an hour speed limit, and it was cruising fine. So swampers, you lose that. I put these on here mainly for fitment purposes. These are 38s. And what I'm going to do is go with a 37 once I get the right wheels that I want. Because though, I was going to set them in just a little. Not much. I was going to set them in just a little because they're fully outside the body at this point. But I have to be careful. They're set out like they are. Everything's kind of close. Everything's set out like they are. Because if I set them in any, like I tried a 16.5 military wheel, and I can't because it rubs on the steering. So I've got to get the right combination of diameter and back spacing for that. But it's getting there. I need to get some tires on it, but right now with all this stuff going on, this pandemic stuff, we haven't been road tripping like we typically would. And we've been busy with a lot of other projects. Tires will come, road trips will happen. Just haven't got there. I did put in it had some worn out tan bucket seats that match the back seat that Tesla's sitting on. They were shot. Frames were still good, but all the fabric and foam was shot. So I put in the low back buckets. I like the black, I like the old school low back look, I like simple. I know if I do get into doing more off-road, I mean, cages are nice, cages are smart if you ever do much of anything, because these have very little protection as you see from the factory. I just like the open air. It's usually just me. And I'm not doing that much right now, and if I did, I may or may not have a different rig for the severe, like the, you know, highly body damaged rollover risk areas. So we'll see. But right now, just a fine cruiser. Weekend wheeler if I want to. We actually drove this to Mount Rushmore and back, 2,000 miles in 4 days. We took the doors, but we did not take the top. Just Sarah and I. Pretty cool trip. I have some footage that I may try to get into a video at some point. There it is. So that's just a quick overview of the shop. And before I end, I'll show you the shop in case you haven't seen it in something previous. Work in progress. I'm going to be doing soon some brickwork. I'm getting some cracks in it, but this used to be the old Girard Fire Department. And then they built this one to replace it, which is much bigger, nicer. Fits bigger trucks, more things, more people. It's nicer in every way, shape, and form. But this building was built in 1933. It was actually the Girard Street Department and Fire Department. The Street Department was over there. The Fire Department is over here. And then over the years it moved to being, well, they also had the police set up in here at one time. They closed that in and made an office out of it. And then they became just the Fire Department, and then they extended onto the front here because the fire trucks would no longer fit inside. They tore that off whenever the city sold it after building a new one. I've actually gotten the office set up because I've lived here off and on in the past. I've gotten the office set up, converted into more of a studio apartment, which now it's converted back to being just a shop office. So again, it's a mess, but there's my stuff wall, one of them, one of several stuff walls that I have. But I do have it set up to have washer, dryer, oven. I put in I've actually got a clawfoot tub. I've got a tub here with a shower. So it's fully livable if I ever want to just stay in town. Or if I ever need a place, or somebody else needs a place. And last but not least is the forklift, the Kelly Brothers old forklift. I'll go into them more later in a different video. But that's about a 1950 Kaiser. It's got a, let me rephrase it, it's about a 1950 unit. It's got a Kaiser engine on it. It's a chain driven forklift. And you'll see better pictures of it as time comes. It was heading for scrap, and I grabbed it in a truck that it was sitting on, and that is a 3,000 pound flagpole. So we are going to do some more playing in the shop, add some more paint to the drawers, and we're going to have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you do the same.